Hi guys, it's Stephanie. It's Monday, August 9th. Today's topic is going to be of very sensitive nature. Definitely not for children. The conversation is going to be some things that I did when I was young and I couldn't understand why. And thoughts that ran through my mind that caused certain behaviors. It caused me to dress differently. It caused me to look at how other boys at the time dressed and other girls dressed. And in this video, I'm going to try to explain to you my thought process that led me into who I am today. And a feeling that was buried deep inside me for a very long time, that at the time only had been an itch that I couldn't scratch. That's right. It was an itch that I couldn't scratch because I felt it, but I didn't know where it was to scratch it. So before I continue, I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers who have been very faithful and supportive the past 5 to 6 months. And if you're a new visitor on my channel today, just browsing through my videos or listening to different subjects, if they appeal to you or they resonate with you somehow, hit that subscribe key and that top bell for notifications of my future uploads. And I'll continue as soon as I come back. Yes, so before you begin to watch this, just know that the conversation here is very sensitive nature. And if you have children that are seated near you, or maybe a spouse that you don't want them to hear this, or if you're not out yet, you mean out, then you want to be sure that you're probably sitting alone and you have some privacy. So here we go. Throughout my whole life, there was an itch that I couldn't scratch. It was there, but I didn't know where to scratch it or how to scratch it. That itch was a deep buried feeling that there's something inside of me that needed to come out. It needed to show itself. But because I was too young and trying to be normal like other children, I innocently just put it off. So I'm going to fast forward around my puberty years. Around my puberty years, the onset of my puberty years, was when I would feel these more. I started noticing my body changing very quickly. And I started to feel a panic inside of me. The panic was telling me that I needed to act fast. So, in hindsight, what it was telling me was, your body's changing quickly and you better let me out. It was like my soul was speaking to me saying, this machine, this biological machine you have, is changing very, very fast, and you need to let me come out. I don't belong in here. At the time, the only things I knew how to do was be aware of those things that were obvious. I started taking a bath, and I couldn't stand the sight of my penis anymore. I hated looking at it. So even though I was in the bathroom all by myself, I would tuck my penis between my legs because I didn't want to see it. It only looked normal when it was tucked away. The other obvious thing was my voice. My voice was getting thicker, and I was really, really panicking. And it was happening very quick. I was about 14 and a half, maybe 15. My freshman year in high school absolutely was horrible. It was horrible. And most of you, if you remember this phase in your life, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because up until your puberty, you were trying hard to have fun with your friends in the neighborhood, whether they were girls or boys. You weren't paying too much attention to it. Remember, I'm an onset transsexual and a late onset transitioner. So I had been holding these deep inside me for years as a child because I didn't know how to explain to them or interpret them to grown-ups because it was an itch I couldn't scratch. So my first year of high school was absolutely the worst because I didn't like wearing the boys' clothes that my parents would buy me to wear. I didn't want to look like the rest of the boys. And something else was happening. It was about the time that I started masturbating. At first, I would find great pleasure in it because it relieved me of the tensions that were caused by my transsexualism. For a little while, it would make me feel at ease. I'm going through puberty, my body's becoming a young adult, and I have testosterone racing through my body like racehorses. And when that feeling came around, I would hate those feelings. I would hate it. So, to relieve me of the feelings of like a boy, I would just masturbate every chance I got. In the bathroom, in the basement. And I didn't know how to stop. And all the same time, I was hating the clothes I was wearing. That would change once I started working a part-time job as a 16-and-a-half-year-old in a McDonald's. During my teen years, I would start buying my own clothes because I just couldn't stand wearing the clothes that my parents were buying me. And some of the clothes were very androgynous. They weren't male, they weren't female. And then in the way that I wore them would accentuate that. So much that when I went to school, other boys would stare at me, look at me funny. I remember one boy held the door open for this girl that was walking in front of me. And I started walking right behind her to get inside because he was holding the door open. Well, when I was about to go through that door, he shoved me back and says, "I'm not holding it for you, bitch. I'm holding it for her." He must have thought I was a gay boy or something like that. And he didn't look like he liked me either. The way he said it. "I'm not holding this door open for you, you little bitch." I started wearing pants differently. I would cuff them at the bottom of the ankles. And I would wear boat shoes instead of sneakers. I would wear loose-fitting clothes that were more relaxed fit. And the other thing I hated was going to the gym, because that meant taking a shower with the boys. I freaking hated it. I'm going to fast forward to graduation day and up until the day that I started dating. After graduation, I managed to make a few guy friends only because I joined the local gym. I thought that maybe if I started lifting weights and putting on some muscle, that maybe I could change the feelings inside me by looking more buff and more masculine. It did for a little while. I was being noticed by people, and I was getting a lot of people telling me, "You look good." They would give me a lot of good compliments saying, "You look buff. It looks like you're going to the gym. You have good pecs or nice arms." So that caused me to do a little bit of bodybuilding, where I had a few bodybuilding shows, and it got kind of fun, and that got my mind off of it. But it didn't stop this thing I've developed. I was masturbating sometimes twice a day because it would relieve me of the feelings I had inside that wanted to come out. I did it so much that I didn't have no social life. And I couldn't understand why I couldn't stop, why I did it so much. And now I know why. Because it kept me from having to come out. Because it cured me momentarily. It took my mind off of it. Because immediately after ejaculating, I felt no tension. I felt relaxed. I felt at ease. I didn't feel or hear this voice inside me saying, "Hey, I need to come out of this body. I need to be me." At this age of 16 or 17, I didn't know how to reconnect with my old friends from junior high when I would see them. I felt shy. You know? They would ask me, "Hey, how you been? Long time no see." In my mind, I was saying, "I want to be a friend. Can I hang around with yous?" But because by this time, I didn't look like or felt like the person that they knew when I was in junior high. I was androgynous. My clothes didn't look like, or I didn't wear them like other boys did. And I felt that they were not comfortable with me anymore. So many times I was left alone to hang out by myself. So I would go into a sports store and buy a basketball and play hoops by myself. And I got really good at shooting basketball. Then I started playing basketball with the guys. But that would put me back into that dark space or that dark area where that I didn't feel comfortable again in my skin. My marriage years, when I started dating, I still masturbated a lot. I couldn't have sex with a woman for a long time because I would come quick. I didn't know how to hold it off. To me, it was just like a quick relief to get the feelings pushed back inside. And so I had a few girlfriends. Even after I got married, both my marriages, I would still masturbate more than I had sex with my wives. After my first divorce was when I came out to my family. I went out to a store and I bought a wig. And I took this wig home with me. And I couldn't wait to go home to try it on. So I went in the bathroom, put that wig on my head, and I was like, oh my God. I put on a little bit of makeup and lipstick in the wig. And I was like, oh my God, this can't be happening. I said, no way. These feelings that I was getting when I was young, it's because I was a woman inside. I felt like I didn't have to masturbate anymore. I felt like I came out to myself. That night, I just kept staring at myself. I can't believe it. I'm transgender. I always knew I was, but I couldn't express it because I was too young. And I was afraid of what my parents would say. My parents are old-fashioned because in the country where I was from, they probably never seen a transgender boy, and if they did, they thought that they were just playing. If they saw a man or a teenager boy or girl in the opposite gender's clothes. Even today, to maybe 50% of the population or more, believe that what you're born with in between your legs is who you are, or it's what you are. But that's not true. We go through a lot before we come out to our parents. There are some today that don't come out. They rather do this in hiding or in the privacy of their own home. Maybe they have a big title job that they want to save because they know if they come out they could lose their job, or their wives will leave them, or maybe their children would probably shun them, or maybe because they simply go to a church every Sunday with their family and they see that there's more to lose than to gain. I would honestly tell you that I have lost a lot coming out as a transgender person, as a transsexual woman. I have lost a lot. What I lost mostly was my ability to make friends easily. Before I came out, I could make friends or date easily. It's difficult when you're transgendered. I feel relaxed, I feel at ease, and I feel a lot of peace. But there's a lot to be said. It's been very costly, and I'm not talking financially. Okay. I'm a very friendly, very friendly woman. I can smile very easily. I can make friends very easily. But there's this invisible barrier that society puts between them and us, and we just can't penetrate it. And that's because they put up a wall that can only let you in so far. The only way that they would open up fully is if they have someone in their family who have gone what we've been through, or maybe they're struggling with it too. You know, it's even difficult dating another trans person, because each trans person, even though we might have taken different paths to get where we are, we still have separate views. And by that I mean, just because most trans and LGBTQ people are liberals, there's still a percentage that identify as conservatives. And our opinions are different because, after all, we're just people. I guess we paid a big price transitioning. We've gained a lot of peace, a lot of self-love, a lot of self-respect, but we have also lost a lot also. It's never going to balance out. And me knowing this, I accept it really, really easily and open-hearted and open-minded. I always knew in my heart that I may or may not find the right person for me to be with in my life. But I'm accepting it, and I haven't given up. When it comes to family, whether they accept you or not, there's always going to be this invisible barrier that they have up, but it's different than what society's barriers are. Your family will love you and they'll support you where they might have not supported you in the beginning, but they do. But there's something there that's lost that you can't get back. I think in each phase of a family life you had with your siblings, your mother and father, they still love you and they still care for you, but there's a substance there. There's this aura that you had with them that's not the same anymore. And that aura is your old aura that they had of you when you were either boy or male before you transitioned. Even though they love you, they loved the other person more because they can connect with that person quicker, that there's no obstacles with that person. After we transition, they may feel like they're walking on ice with you because they have to get the pronouns correct, they have to talk with you a certain way, and they probably have to be careful not to bring back the past from when you were a boy or a girl originally. And also, us being a transgendered person, we tend to put everything under a microscope, and we tend to be a lot more sensitive than once we were. Yeah, we may have alligator skin to deflect the prejudices from society and haters, but there's a part of us that's also very vulnerable. And if those haters and those people who do not see eye to us find out what that vulnerability is, and then they would have gotten our number and they can press those buttons that can get us going. So that's why I try to keep my chin up all the time. This is one of those topics that I can go on forever and ever and ever with you guys. But I know that I'm not the only one who feels like this. I know there are others. So, yeah, I just thought that I would talk about this today. I just wanted to empty my mind here and put it out there. The things that change when we change will never be the same again. Yeah, you'll meet some trans people saying, oh yeah, my family loves me, yeah, they love me. They may love you, yeah, they love you. My family loves me too. But there's this substance that you had that you don't have anymore, that they loved more, that they miss. I know. Even though I love myself now when I look in the mirror, I love all the changes I've been through physically, but the most important thing is mentally up here. It's not what you had and what you don't have anymore between your legs. It's not what you have here that you now have. It's what you always had here and how you maintain this. So, anyways, I hope that I'm able to make a connection with you today on this level. It's deep. And if you guys have any experiences or feelings of what I've just discussed in this video, please comment. Please comment. And I hope you guys have a good week. And I'll be talking to you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye. That was epic.